Hello, Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that Nine of Cups. That is extraordinary. This is the pursuit of happiness. This is following your bliss. Okay? I feel like you're somebody who is, you have bad days. We all do, right? Sometimes we feel as if things are not going to get better or that things really couldn't get any worse, right? So maybe the only direction they can go is up, right? But I feel like lately you've been in a much better mood, I feel like you're very hopeful. I feel like there is just this growing sense of things are going to be okay. Things are going to be more than okay, right? This is the card of being aware of blessings on both the physical and financial planes, but also the mental, emotional planes. In fact, the spiritual, creative planes, all three planes of being, okay? This is a card that says you know what you want. You know what kind of life you want. And there is this growing optimism, this growing hope that we're going to get there, right? So this is an active card. It's a 9. It's a verb, right? It's an odd number. Odd numbers are the sort of active principle, right? A yang instead of a yin. And so this is a card that says we have to actively wish for, actively hope for what we want, actively pursue that happiness. And that pursuit, well, that's happiness itself, right? Let's just put this card into a little bit of context. I'm very happy about this. We got to see what other energies are around you right now, okay? So we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. Our next card is a 10 of Wands. Okay, that could mean several things. All right. We have a 2 of Wands underneath, 4 of Pentacles, and Ace of Wands. Very strong fire energy here. And we've got a Princess of Cups in the future position. I like that. I wonder if the effort here is sort of I almost feel like the 2 is becoming 1 here. I wonder if the 10 of Wands is suggesting that you might feel a lot of energy in your life right now is holding you back from pursuing the things you really wish for. You're actively wishing. What's holding you back? The 10 of Wands is very often an oppressive energy. It is perhaps too many commitments. It's perhaps too many things on your plate. It is perhaps too many people in your lives that are making demands of you. It could be partnerships or situations or endeavors that you're part of that are rather one-sided, that are demanding too much of you, but there's nobody meeting you halfway. Okay. This is a lot of weight on your shoulders. Yeah. And we could look at this the other way too and think of, okay, this is you taking responsibility for your happiness, for your 9 of Cups, that you're putting in. Yeah, it's all on your shoulders because this is your life, right? So I do think that there's a little bit of both of these interpretations at play here, because we have a 2 going to a 1, right? The duality becomes a unity. And I wonder too if that's kind of that you are trying to maybe go in 2 different directions at one time, And if you're going left, you can't also go right. It's going to be a tug of war, right? So it might be that there feels like a tug of war inside of you right now for this sense of direction, but I see that you're looking for direction. You have this active wish. You have this active dream, right? The Nine of Cups is the dream that keeps on dreaming, the happiness that keeps on happening, right? This is the way of life. I'm pursuing my happiness. I'm following this bliss. Well, what happens if our bliss is perhaps sort of equally split between different things, right? We've got to make that unity happen. We've got to get to that Ace of Wands here. Okay. Also, if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay. Let's finish up with our cards here on the path of the Serpent. We've got now we've got an Eight of Cups. We've got a Knight of Swords, a Seven of Pentacles, and that Ace of Pentacles. That's very good. Two aces at the top here, which I think are very fortuitous. Okay? If our will is one, our behaviors will be one. Our actions will be singular. Our intention will be singular. Our path will be kind of one unified path. Okay? I do feel like there's something going on with another person here where there might be a relationship that I don't know if I would call it codependent, but I feel as if there's somebody who is sort of draining your energy, or there's a situation that is symbolized, excuse my voice today, that is symbolized by this Knight of Swords. Maybe an air sign person, maybe not. Okay, maybe a Libra person. I feel as if they are demanding too much of you in sort of an unfair way. Okay, and it almost feels as if it kind of feels like, you know, when you're in school and you're supposed to have partners for a project or something, and you're doing all the work, but the other person is kind of not doing anything, but you want to get a good grade still, so you're doing all the work. You don't want to fail, but it's not fair that this other person is just kind of, they don't care and they're not doing anything. It almost feels like that. Okay, we can't blame the other person, because this is our responsibility, and if it just so happens that you're stuck with somebody who doesn't want to work and doesn't care about anything, well, that's not a reason for you to stop caring about anything, you know? So we still have to take that responsibility. But as adults, perhaps, we have a little bit more leverage. We have a little bit more autonomy in that we can say, I'm not going to be partners with this person if they're not pulling their weight. Okay. Of course, unless it's a coworker or something like that, there's still some nuance there, you know. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set it down right here with Alien Simon Mark Ripley right on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the end, okay? It will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments, all right? Let's exercise our intuition, yeah. Now, looking around the room, very peculiar thing here. There's no major arcana energy, not a single one, right? And it doesn't mean that Spirit has abandoned you, left you to your own devices. No, I feel that Spirit is supporting your actions here. Spirit is saying, whatever you decide to do is going to be the right thing, and you will find the support that you need, okay? But Spirit's kind of taking a step back. It's almost like your guardian angel has kind of like pushed you out of the nest a little bit and is thinking, okay, they'll fly. They'll do it. They'll make the right choice, right? They'll get on the path or back on the path or whatever it is. So Spirit is here. But Spirit is confident that you're going to make the right choice here, that you're going to do what you need to do. Okay? It's a little bit of a test, I think. And when we're looking at these two cards, yeah, it feels that there is a lot of oppressive energy that's interfering with your ability to pursue your happiness. And so instead of achieving that happiness, our Our 9 of Cups can devolve into an 8 of Cups, and we don't like that, right? The 8 of Cups is how you feel when something is blocking you from doing what you really love, from actively wishing for that better life and working toward that better life and pursuing that better life. Okay? I think there's a partnership in your life somewhere. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be professional, personal. It could be romantic or platonic. It could be strictly business, right? There's something going on in your life. Now, this doesn't have to be a person. It could be a relationship with really anything, okay? Sometimes it's my relationship with ice cream, let's say, right? It's getting in the way of me really doing what I want to do. And sometimes I got to take a break from the ice cream. That's just meant to be a little inside joke because, well, I tend to bring everything back to food, don't I? But just the point is, it doesn't have to be a person. We're not necessarily out here looking at all the people in our life and thinking, are you the one preventing me from getting to my goals? Because it's not quite like that. Remember, our 10 of Wands we're not looking for someone to blame. We're not saying, okay, well, if I just get rid of that person from my life, I'm going to have an easy go of it. No, that's not how it works, right? But it will free up energy that you might be able to apply in this fire to earth way to making progress toward your best life, making progress toward happiness, toward the fulfillment of all of these wishes. Okay? So we've got no major arcana, but we do have fire, fire, fire. And that's the big vertical thing here. On the vertical axis. The 2 is becoming 1. And it sort of looks like, with the 10 of Wands, it sort of looks like it is 2 against the world, right? And maybe that's what we thought it was supposed to be. Maybe we thought we were in a partnership with somebody. Or we thought we were connected or committed to someone or something. That was going to help us get to our goals. That was going to be good for us. It could be your connection with a job or a coworker at the job, you see. And I think we're realizing that we can't rely on anybody else in that way. That we're responsible for our own happiness. That, yeah, this is our burden to carry. But let's not carry any unnecessary burdens. Let's certainly not carry anyone else's. We've all got our own crosses to bear, you know. So we have this big wall of fire. And the wall of fire is what's preventing your 4 of Pentacles from getting to the Princess of Cups, right? In other words, the princess wants to come live in the castle, but there is a lot preventing that from happening. Okay? Or put it another way, we want to materialize and solidify these dreams, hopes, wishes that we are actively pursuing. The Princess of Cups is the one that's out there doing the work, wishing for things, trying to materialize, trying to do this magic of fire to earth manifestation. This is the process of manifestation, right? Fire to earth, heaven to earth, will to action, impulse to behavior, inspiration to implementation. Okay? And I kind of look at those aces as being the summit, the tip, the tip of the spear, but the summit of the mountain, right? Rather than it's the beginning of anything, I think it's sort of the unification, the culmination of something. Okay? Especially when we're going from a 10 to an ace. Because the 10 feels like it's the base of the mountain, where there are a lot of choices, where there are a lot of paths that all lead to the top. The further we get up the mountain, the narrower the path becomes. The less options there are, the less room there is for changing our minds. The less space we have for mistakes, right? And so it gets narrower and narrower toward the top until we get to the very summit of this thing, the very peak of your life. And so the further up we get, we've got to start making choices. I don't need these empty oxygen tanks anymore. Let me dump those. No sense carrying those around. All these, I don't know, whatever else you may discard when you're climbing a mountain like that. I think of that show Everest that I watch on Netflix, you know. And as they're climbing up Everest, they get closer and closer to the summit. You start seeing a lot of abandoned gear on the side of the mountain. People are discarding a lot of the empty oxygen tanks. The Everest seems like it's littered with garbage. Do you ever realize that? It feels like there's a lot of stuff up there. Just things that are just dead weight. Things that are, there's no reason why I'm holding on to this. You know, it's taking energy from me. It's burning calories holding on to this, all these empty oxygen tanks. I might as well dump them. You know, and environmental questions aside, it seems like it's smart because then you have less baggage as you get to the top here. So anyway, we've got a lot of fire. We've got water, and the water over here. We got a little bit of air, and the air seems like it's kind of the odd person out, the odd card out, right? And of course we have our earth, and earth. So this is very cool, right? Fire, fire, fire. Water, water, water. Earth, earth, earth. 3, 3, 3. Which happens to be 3, 3, 3 of these blessings, right? So to me, it feels as if spiritually, right, creatively, mentally, emotionally, and physically, financially, the blessings are here. The blessings just need you to put down all of these things that don't matter to you and grab those blessings, right? These are real. Major blessings here on every plane of your existence. But I see that there is the mental aspect, the intellectual, the air energy seems to be an issue. And it might be the way we're communicating with people because the air card is in the position of your relationships and or environment. Really, it's your relationship with the environment and this position of the dove and serpent spread. One day I'm going to do a video just talking about the spread, you know. I get a lot of questions about how this all works, and it's very complex, and it's an organic thing. It's a living, breathing entity, the spread that we use, right? And so some of the card positions are sort of growing and evolving. New connections reveal themselves over time, you know. And if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you'll see that. Maybe it started out very simple, but now there's more complexity as we go. Anyway, the environment card or the relationship card has to do a lot with what you feel inside of you or what is down beneath the surface, maybe a little subconscious or right at the threshold of consciousness. To me, it feels with these two cards together that you might have an issue saying no to people, that you just say yes to everything. Someone asks you for something, yeah, sure. They ask you for a commitment, yeah, that's fine. You know, okay, yeah, I'll do it. You know, you're kind of the go-to person, right? With our this Two of Wands here, it feels like people really rely on you. It feels that you may want to say no, and I think you're having an increase of this feeling like, I really don't want to do some things in my life. I really don't want to do that. Okay. I think the idea here is that we need to be aware of this when your gut is prompting you to say no thank you to something, right? We need more no's and less yeses, all right, to quote Bus Driver. And I think that's important for us in our personal lives, to realize that we don't have to say yes to everything that comes our way, whether it's from friends or family or coworkers. What if it's a boss at work or a coworker at work, not even the boss? Just some other employee saying, hey, can you do this and this and this and this and this and this for me? Right? And that's kind of the key phrase, the key appendage to that question. Can you do X, Y, Z for me? In other words, I know I'm supposed to do it, but can you do it? And I think we're having a growing frustration with that kind of energy. And we're ready to say, no. I cannot. I'll do it, but I'm going to do it for me, or I'm not going to do it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not helpful people. And I think that's the problem, though, is that you're very helpful, right? You're very willing to share of your energy with others because, let's face it, Leo, sometimes you feel like you have infinite energy or that you should have infinite energy or that at one time you did. We need more no's, less yeses, okay? And this is a growing feeling of that fact, a growing awareness that, hey, maybe that's true. I'm feeling that in here, and it might just be it might just be right. Okay. When we look at the Four of Pentacles in the background, we see a little bit of that fortification. Okay. And we see that this is representing the finite amount of energy, time and energy, and money that you have. It's a good foundation. Okay, it's pretty solid. This is material power. Right? It's the name of the card. Earthly power. So it's time, right? Energy. It's money. It's the resources. This is everything you have in your personal space that you can invest in other people or other things, other pursuits, following your dreams, following your bliss, fulfilling your wishes, or to other people. It's kind of like, back in the day, your grandma gives you $1 and says, don't spend it all in one place. Okay. I'll spend a nickel on the theater, I'll get popcorn for a penny, and the rest of it I'll go and buy candy and toys afterwards, right? $1 used to go a long way. But it's a finite amount, okay? And you have to sort of budget things in that way, yeah. And so this is also, to me, an energy that's very closed off. It's kind of like we're very protective of our resources. And I think that there was a time where you shied away from too many people. Maybe this is the time in your life where you said no to everything. You were pinching every single penny, every bit of energy. You say, nope, I'm keeping it. Yeah, I'm keeping it all. And I think that's a good thing. We sort of build up this resource, and then if we have this context here, everything you've saved, you're now able to give it 100% to the fulfillment of your wishes. And the Princess of Cups really is living the dream life. See, we like that here. This is a really good flow. Everything that you've saved up in your life. All those times, and this, it really could be a card of a little bit of isolation. That we're sort of saying, no, I got to stay home and focus on something, right? That we're sort of refusing the invitations to go outside the house. No, I got to stay home tonight. I'm studying, or whatever, I can't spend any money right now. And so I feel that you're very good with budgeting, with saving, with accumulating resources. And then, of course, we save up enough, and we are able to apply all of those resources, time, money, energy, whatever it is, apply those to our Nine of Cups and start manifesting these wishes, these hopes, these dreams, these blessings, taking advantage now of the time, which I think is very ripe for you. But what if you have that $1 and you say, okay, movie, popcorn, the bus ride to and from, candy and toys afterward, that's the $1. Nice. But what if your friend says, hey, I want to tag along, but I don't have any money? And you think, okay, well, I guess now I can do 2 theater tickets, we'll share the popcorn, 2 bus rides, and maybe no toys or candy afterwards, right? So you're compromising because there's somebody that is asking for part of those resources. Time, energy, your money, right? And I think that's really a reason why we want to start saying no, because the energy that might be sufficient to really fulfill. See, we have a 10 here and we've got a 9. So this to me says that you have all of this energy and all of this sense of responsibility to fulfill your hopes and dreams and wishes. But as we see over here, there's something that's blocking that. There's something that is, I think something that you have a growing feeling of needing to say no to. Because it's preventing you from getting your stuff done, from getting everything, not just, well, what do you mean? You can still see the movie, right? But it's like, yeah, but I shouldn't have to go bare minimum, getting just barely my needs met. There should be extra. I should be able to do the things that I really want to do in life. Okay? So it's that person at work that's asking you to do things for them, and should you agree to it, well, you got to get their work done, and then you've got to get your bare minimum work done, right? And maybe you'll have to skip your lunch, and you'll just barely have time to get it done before quitting time. But you should have the opportunity to focus on the quality of your work, maybe do a little bit extra for the next day, that you can take a lunch break, You shouldn't have to sacrifice that much because you now have to squeeze in somebody else's demands, right? So sometimes we have to say, look, no, I was planning on enjoying my lunch today. I was planning, and maybe you had personal things you had to go do too. It's like, well, now I'm not going to be able to go get the car fixed, so I got to stay here and finish this work. I think stuff like this happens all the time. It's not that we need to say no to everything, right? But we've got to be discerning. Yeah. And then we get to the Ace of Wands at the top here, and that is the unity, right? The Ace of Wands is sort of a brilliant idea. And I think that you're somebody that operates very effectively on your own, right? And I see that here with the Four of Pentacles too. When you have your game plan, when you have your discipline, when you have your focus, your will, you stick to it. But once we start opening the door to other things, other people that are taking our time or asking for our attention, then things start to break down a little bit. Because then we feel that there's no way I can sustain what I have to do, my discipline, my effort, my focus. Maybe this isn't even about money or time, really. Maybe this is just your attention. A lot of things vying for your attention. Leaves less attention for you to put on these blessings that are right here, ready for you to take them. Okay? And so I think you're somebody that has a lot of willpower. You've got a lot of strength. You've got a lot of discipline and focus. It just needs to be applied, right? And I think I think it's going to lead to really great things. Okay. The Princess of Cups this is the central thing. This is the very center of the tarot table today. It's the Axis Mundi. It's the galactic center. It's the pole star. All the other cards on the table are swirling around, right? This Princess of Cups. This is the very axis of everything, right? It's the axle of the wheel. And this is working towards solidifying your wishes, the water energy, the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations, the wishes, right? The desires that you have, the bliss that you want to feel in life. There's an earthy aspect of this card that is trying to solidify these things, trying to make them real and tangible. And this is where all of your fire energy, all of your willpower, all of your attention is going into satisfying this and materializing your dreams, your wishes. It's one thing to be actively always wishing for something. You always have something that you're working toward and desiring to fulfill. We've got to have the attention and the energy and the resources aimed at that. It's not enough to just wish for something. We've got to then apply all of the necessary forces, employ all the necessary resources to make it happen. That's magic. That's the secret of our fire to earth. You've got to have your heart and your mind and your will focused really one-pointedly on the summit of that mountain, and you will achieve whatever it is in your life right now that you are really wishing for. Okay? And the Princess of Cups is ready for that, ready to use all of these resources to manifest this. The princess is ready to go live in the palace and achieve whatever these goals are. But we've got to deal with the path of the serpent. And as we do this, of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it supports the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Yeah. So your general energy then is this Eight of Cups. It feels like every time we start to get our hopes up for something, and we start to feel like I'm making progress. Hey, look at this. Things are happening. Something comes along, and now it's our choice. We choose to sort of be distracted by it. We choose to say yes to something. And then, of course, the build-up of this Nine of Cups, as it starts to approach materialization, it starts to lose a little bit of its momentum. It's kind of like we're pushing that boulder up the hill. And as soon as we get close to the top, something else needs our attention, and it's just like, I can't hold this boulder up and then also go do these other things for these other people, or, go pursue this other thing that I kind of want to, or whatever it might be. Because as soon as we move that way, there goes the boulder back down the hill. Okay, I've got to start again. I got to keep going. So, for me, it always happens in when I try to focus on my meditation. And I'm meditating an hour in the morning, an hour at lunchtime, an hour in the evening, right? And I'm not doing anything else. I'm not taking invitations. I'm not really taking guests. I'm going to work. I'm coming home, meditating, because I'm trying to make progress there, right? I'm trying to really focus on that and solidify something there. And things start happening. I get deeper and deeper into meditation. A lot of these various stages of concentration that the Buddha talks about, or Vivekananda talks about, it starts to happen. Things are starting to build up. Something's going to happen, And then I'll get a phone call from somebody, and whatever it is, I'll focus my attention. I'll say, yeah, okay, come on over, or I'll go out there, or other things in life that sort of that tend to take one away from their central focus, right? And then it's sort of regrettable, because then it's like, okay, I'll come back to my meditation, whether it's later that day, or a week later, or a month, or even a year later, depending on what these other things are. Okay, well, then I'll sort of start again. And things will start to build up and build up and build up and build up. And then, the same situation arises again. And I think it's really Spirit's way of testing us. We have to learn to say no. If you want something so bad, you have to be willing to arrange your life in such a way that as much of your resources, time, energy, and money can go toward that thing. Yeah. Because otherwise, we kind of feel like it deflates. And we got to build things back up again, and then deflates again. And you know what happens if you inflate and deflate a balloon too many times? It starts to get kind of floppy, right? It starts to take a lot more to get it to really inflate. So we're sort of wearing ourselves out. We're wearing out our own patience. We're losing hope in the wish itself, and we're starting to think, well, maybe I'm just not meant to do this. Maybe it's just, I keep getting pulled away in different directions. Maybe I'm just not meant for it. Maybe it's silly for me to be aspiring to this thing. Yeah. It's not. I think it's Spirit's way of seeing how serious we are, seeing how committed we are, right? So the Eight of Cups is this feeling of, it's sort of a hopelessness. It kind of feels like, God, every time I try to do something happens. Every time I start getting somewhere, something happens. The card of our relationships. This is a Libra energy. It's a Knight of Swords. Okay? It's a cardinal air sign. It may be an air sign person, may be a Libra energy in your life. To me, I think it represents not only that other thing out there that sort of swoops in and demands your time, energy, or money, and then our aspirations get kind of deflated. So it represents the other thing or person, but it also represents your willingness to sort of say yes too quickly. And sometimes my wife and I will have this conversation, not to get too personal or anything here. My wife does tea leaf readings on YouTube here. She's over at Ula Tea Leaf Readings. Go sub her channel, by the way. Sometimes she'll be on the phone and I'll just hear her say, oh yeah, we'd love to. Yeah, I'll put it on the calendar right now. And then she hangs up and I said, what did you just agree to? What are we doing? And then she's like, oh, well, we've got we're going to some so-and-so's house on Sunday at noon. It's like, I can't. And it's sort of like, let's not agree to anything too quickly, right? Let's have a conversation first. Let's give it some time. But the cardinal air sign is just making decisions like this. And of course, this could be a good thing, because what if we get in the habit of saying, no, sorry, and then maybe we can change our mind later if it's something we really want to do. But more no's and less yeses. Let's not be so quick to accept everything, to say yes to everything. Okay? Because the other thing we have, of course, we have our, you have an 8 of Cups, you're going to have a 7 of Pentacles. Because this is something that's not materializing. This is something that, wow, it got halfway there and then it fizzled out. Right? It started to grow. It was almost there, and then, okay. The ace is the correction for this, right? Because the ace is that work, that focus on those details that makes the 7 become an 8 of Pentacles. And an 8 of Pentacles is something that's growing. The 8 of Pentacles is the attention to detail. It's not a rush. It's not a fiery, hectic, frantic energy. It's a focus. It's a calm routine. The 8 of Pentacles, right? Day after day, focused on this. That's how we build something up. That's how we grow something. Focusing on it every day, every day, every day. Your plant needs water, food, and sunlight. Water, soil, sunlight every day. Can't skip a day, right? If you are committed to developing a habit, you can't skip days here and there, because then there's no improvement there. There's nothing there. I did it sometimes. Sometimes I didn't do it. That's normal life. That's not that concentration. That's not really creating that habit, So I feel like in terms of your finances, things are improving. If you focus, if you have more no's and less yeses, your finances will improve. I feel like the satisfaction of your desires, your emotional life, your emotional relationship with life is going to get infinitely better if we start saying no. But saying yes also to the right things, the things that are going to help you get to the goals, whatever you're looking for, whatever your highest wishes, hopes, dreams, and aspirations are. We say yes to that and no to everything else. Mystery card might be the Lover's card or the 8 of Pentacles. Okay. So physically and materially, the finances are going to improve. Emotionally, you're going to be more and more and more happy. You're going to feel more and more blessed. Okay? If we can sort out the fire energy. Yeah. And if we can sort of understand how or why we're making decisions so quickly. Why do we say yes so quickly? Right? So I like the Ace of Pentacles at the end, because, of course, this is moment to moment having our will influence our behavior. Every moment is a decision to do your will. So we could say no to doing anything else but say yes to doing our will. Right? Yes, I'm going to sit here and meditate for an hour. No, I'm not going to let anything distract me. This is saying, yes, I'm going to meditate every morning at 6 a.m. And no, I'm not going to schedule anything that's going to be in that time slot. I don't care what it is. I'm going to say no to anything between 6 and 7 a.m. Something like that. You know what I mean. So it's a positive commitment, and then it's sort of an active defense of that. Okay? And that's the way we change behavior. That's the way we build habits. That's the way we make progress financially, emotionally, in this sort of pursuing your bliss, right? Whatever that means to you. Let's look at our mystery card. Of course, Empress life would be great. Maybe a 10 of cups. The 10 of Pentacles would be good. I think an 8 of Pentacles or the Lover's card is appropriate here. If you have a prediction, though, Leo, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. The Eight of Swords. Okay. Back to the air energy. Well, this is good because we're getting somewhere. We make decisions very quickly because the alternative is that we talk about it so much, we debate about it so much that we're so indecisive that we end up not doing anything and we remain stagnant, right? So that's part of this, I think, too, is that we feel that by just making decisions quickly, just like this, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, that we're being intentional. We're being very decisive, right? But if we're agreeing to everything, we may be doing it quickly, but, it doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean it's better for us, right? But the alternative maybe is, well, then I'll just be in this state of constant indecision. Well, I don't know. Should I do this or should I not do this? There's an easy way out of this. And it's the simplicity of our aces. Whoops. It's the simplicity of our aces here. The way out of the eight of, and see now we've got, obviously, right, we've got the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Swords. The easy way out of the Eight of Swords is to ask ourselves in every moment, is this something that is going to further my goal? Is this something that is getting me closer to the accomplishment of my will, the fulfillment of my, aspirations? It was very simple. If we say, I want to meditate every day at 6 o'clock, everything that comes along doesn't have to really tie me up in knots like this in this sort of indecision. I don't have to think about it for an hour or a week or a month or a year. It's easy. Is this going to interfere with my meditation? Yeah, well, sorry, I can't do it. Okay. If it's not going to interfere with my meditation directly, is this something that's going to make it more difficult for me? Let's say I want to meditate at 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Okay, well, this option that comes along, it's not interfering with the time frame, but is it like, is it going out and drinking with my buddies or something? I don't drink anymore, but is it going out and doing something that is going to exhaust me physically or mentally or emotionally? And that's going to negatively impact my evening meditation, right? Well, then I have to say no to that too. It doesn't have to be directly interfering with the time, but it could be interfering with your ability to do the thing, So it could be a little bit indirect. The Eight of Swords sometimes feels like this is our inability. I can't say no. My hands are tied, right? I can't say no. And if that's true, if that is actually true, and you've got to ask yourself if that is actually true. If you absolutely, in all truth, cannot say no, then don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Just do what you got to do with the least amount of drain on your energy so that you can focus on what you need to do. Sometimes we have obligations that we cannot say no to. There's no way. Sometimes those company parties, right? Cannot say no to that. Boss needs you to stay late and have a meeting or something. Sometimes you can't say no. There's a family emergency or a family obligation. You can't say no. That's fine. Then just don't worry about it. Don't waste more energy by feeling upset about that. Then there are other obligations, other commitments that we have where our hands are not tied. We don't need to overthink those either. Okay? The way forward needs to be simple and clear. Yeah. Major blessings are around you right now, and Spirit wants you. That's why there's no major arcana, even nothing, right? Spirit wants you to fly, wants you to make the right decisions here. Spirit is confident that you know what you need to do and how to do it. Spirit is supporting you, and whatever your choice you make, Spirit's going to be there to, with you to sort of support your choice, even if it's the wrong choice, right? So this is a bit of a test for you, I think. Well, we're going to do an extended reading, and if you want to stick around for that, there's a link in the corner, there's one down below. New readings for Leo on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.